I'm about to swing, and Floyd like yanked my hand back, or he'll push me to the ropes. Like he was actually like touching me while we was sparring. Like
why?
Like, he was, cause it was like Devin was his guy, cause Devin was training at his gym.
Everyone's calling for Gervonta Davis and Devin Haney to meet in the ring, and a lot of pros already have their predictions for who they think will come out on top. While the fight isn't confirmed yet, it's looking very likely to be coming soon, and everyone is excited about it. Jeff Mayweather was asked who he thought would win in a potential match, and he thinks the fight would be very one-sided. Jeff stated, "Leaving the belts off the table, the one thing is this. Either guy can beat either guy, but Tank is the one guy that's different from all the rest because he has power. And he has one-punch knockout power, so Devin can be ahead of him by 10 rounds, and Tank can hit you one time and it might be over. The same thing with Shakur, but I'm not saying they can't fight a perfect fight. Those are two of the best boxers out there today. If anyone has a chance of beating Tank, it's Shakur Stevenson. But we're gonna have to fight at a safe distance. They're gonna have to keep the distance." Floyd Mayweather thought that the two sparring each other was crazy work. Floyd stated, "It was the day before Adrian Broner was fighting Sean Porter. Right after the weigh-in, we went right over to the gym because Adrian wanted to see Tank box Devin Haney. Haney was in good shape. Tank wasn't in good shape, but they worked. It was some crazy work, and just with him and Devin working, it was crazy entertaining. So I said, you know what? I like this kid." Tim Bradley doesn't just have his money on Davis beating Haney, but he believes that Shakur Stevenson could beat him as well. Tim stated, "You make one mistake against Tank and it's a wrap. Haney is a great fighter. To me, he is. He's got a ton of skill and ability. He has size over these guys. I just think that a guy like Shakur is defensively better. I think he'll have the advantage on Haney from the inside. Then you have a guy like Tank. I think those two with the power, the IQ that Tank has and the IQ that Shakur has, I think they'll give Haney a run for his money and beat him if they were to fight." Mike Tyson is a huge Gervonta Davis fan, but he thinks there are two fighters out there who could threaten his undefeated record. Tyson stated, "It's a great possibility he could retire unbeaten, but then you've got Devin Haney and you've got Shakur. There are the only two guys who are possibly a threat to him. I'm disgusted that he only gets compared to me. There are so many other great fighters that he reminds me of. Pernell Whitaker, Floyd Mayweather, he's a bruiser too when he wants to be a bruiser. He's a special fighter, so his only threats are Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson." Terrence Crawford thinks that Devin Haney will have no problem against a fighter like Gervonta Davis, and he's looking forward to the fight. Terrence stated, "I always say Devin beat Tank, know what I mean? The way Lomachenko was landing them left hands on Haney, it's gonna be kind of tough for Haney to win getting hit like that from Tank. Styles make fights, you never know." Oscar De La Hoya was asked about who he thought could come out on top, and even he thinks that Tank Davis is just too much of a beast for Haney. Oscar stated, "Wow, great fight. I'd have to pick Tank, but Haney learned a lot from his fight with Loma. But Tank is a beast." Calvin Ford sat down to talk about what he thought of a potential fight, and he's yet another fan who thinks Davis will be too much for Haney. Calvin stated, "Again, it has to make sense to everybody. We know that when they sit down at the table, they're going to look at what you did. They're going to look at your actuals. Does it make sense to make that fight? Or if you say you really want that fight, take the offer and beat the man. Tank is the man. In my book, I don't think Haney's got anything that could really stop Tank. You know, he hasn't shown me anything where I'd go, whoa, you understand what I'm saying?" Leonard Ellerby thinks that Haney still needs to put in some more work before he can even take the fight. Leonard stated, "The way you prove it is inside the ring, but you've got to get to that point though. Those guys keep doing what they're doing. I have nothing positive to say about all those guys. People just think that you can say, oh, we're just going to make a fight. It doesn't work like that. It's not that simple where you just go and do something. You got to be bringing something to the table other than some hardware." Shakur Stevenson thought that the question of Haney versus Davis was hilarious, and he made it clear who he thinks would come out on top. Shakur stated, I think y'all know. Y'all know, I'm not gonna say it. That's between them." Keyshawn Davis seemed to see the fight going the same way as he made a very blunt prediction. Keyshawn stated, Devin Haney and Tank? Oh, Tank's gonna knock Haney out. We saw it tonight with Lomachenko. Old Lomachenko. This didn't even make no sense. Tank's gonna knock Devin out all the way. Barry McGigan doesn't think that Haney would be able to stand against Davis in the ring, and he thinks that there's only one fighter who could. Barry stated, at lightweight, Tank wipes everybody out. Maybe Shakur Stevenson would cope, but I wouldn't give Devin Haney or Vasyl Lomachenko much of a chance. I don't think I've seen a guy like Davis in the lighter divisions with that kind of power. Jamal Charlo is actually on Haney's side though, and he doesn't think that Tank can touch him. Charlo stated, after what I saw, I don't think he can touch Devin Haney. Shakur is going to beat all of them, I promise. Adrian Broner has opened up about a time that Gervonta Davis and Devin Haney sparred, and he thinks that Davis' power would be too much for Haney in a real fight. Broner stated, y'all know what happened, man. He sparred Devin. It's packed as hot. They get in there. Tank hit that dude. He hit him. Boom. Then he hit him again, and he went out. I jumped in the ring because at that time Devin was 17. Once they got going, Devin got the best of him, but in a real fight time with 8-ounce gloves, bye. Eddie Hearn has other expectations for Haney in the end, but he thinks that he'd have a good chance against Gervonta Davis if they end up fighting. Eddie stated, if I'm him, I want to fight Rolly Romero for the WBA 140 title because he'll just fancy that fight, and he'll smash Rolly Romero. He's not going to be wanting the Shakur Stevenson fight because it's not that big and it's a huge risk fight. I would think that he would fancy the Tank fight, and I think he has a great chance in that fight. I think he'd love the Ryan Garcia fight. I'm not sure about Regis Prograis. That's a tough fight, but Devin is capable of winning or being competitive in most of those fights. Devin Haney believes that a fight against Gervonta Davis would be an epic showing, and he hopes that it happens sooner rather than later. Devin stated, yeah, I know when the numbers come out, the numbers did very well. The gate did very well. I proved that I'm a draw in the sport of boxing. I proved that people want to see me. They come out, they support. And me and Tank Davis is a massive fight, and it's going to happen sooner than later. You know, if I can't get those fights next, or it doesn't make sense for it to be next, I'll probably go to 140, test it out, see how I feel at the weight at 140. And then, when the time is right, then I'll defend my belts at 135. We'll just see though. I've got to go back and talk with the team and see what makes the most sense. That's really all it boils down to. Gervonta's trainer, Kenny Ellis, says that they really want to fight with Haney or Shakur later this year, and he thinks that the time is now for Davis. Ellis stated, we want all the smoke. Ain't nobody else left to fight for none of them guys. Let's give the fans what they want. Give the fans what they want. Ain't no use playing around with unknown opponents and all that shit. All three champions want to clean out the division, so between them three, they should fight each other next. There's enough time left in 2023 for Tank to fight Shakur Stevenson or Devin Haney. The time is now. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and check out some of our other videos on the screen right now.